Hi everyone, it's Sunday, March 7th, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. It was a pretty uneventful week in many places across the globe, but at least here in the U.S., prices are on an upswing. As a whole, producers did not offer very much this week, but the sellers who did were really busy. Those who didn't have offer lists also sure had plenty of unsolicited bids. And the sum total is that sales may not have hit a higher level, but most prices sure did. With regard to heavy Texas steers, prices were steady with seasonal weights still selling from $28 to $31. Other steer selections saw prices go up anywhere from 50 cents to more than $1 on some. The cow market was also active with demand good and prices steady to just a little higher. On the shipping front, the situation is still causing big headaches for everyone as nothing has changed to alleviate the backlog or make equipment more available. Looking at slaughter for the week through Saturday, March 6th, the total was estimated at 665,000, which is just 1,000 hides less than last week. Turning to Europe, editor Andrea Guolo says that Asian buyers are still out of the market there because prices are too high. Overall, there were some increases here and there on cows and bulls, but the rest of the market was stable. In the UK, Andrea says that some European buyers are having difficulty getting the shipments of what they've already purchased. The 36 plus ox is still being sold at £1 15 cents and the Irish equivalent at €1 10 cents. That said, the current prices are considered too high by both European buyers as well as the UK tanneries. But nonetheless, sellers are still going to keep asking for more, he says. Among bulls, slaughter is a little bit better, and at the same time, there are some changes in the demand in the furniture sector. Southern German bulls are stable and selling at €1.65 per kilo, but there were other origins throughout the continent that saw some higher prices. It was much the same story in the European cow market, where the reference selections were stable, but some others logged increases. Looking at the veal skin market, it still has very limited availability, and that's a big factor in the steadiness, as is the lack of demand for footwear. In his analysis this week, Andrea looks at the contrasts in higher prices on some materials and the shifting demand in some sectors. He also looks at how prices will remain tense for some time and they aren't likely to decrease, but he also addresses when the fashion sector might actually recover because the forecasts have not been correct. Turning to South America, the relentless rise of raw material prices in Brazil actually took a breather this week. Editor Ronald Guiel says that despite continued low slaughter, fresh hides closed at the same price as last week, which was $2.29 per kilo. TR1 was also stable, still selling for $1.07 a square foot. Ronald said that domestically, demand remains low and that the country has been seeing a resurgence of COVID-19 in the past few weeks, and the infection rate and death rate have surged again. From elsewhere in Latin America, in Brazil, January Mato Grosso beef slaughter was down nearly 8%, although there are some sources that say the situation may start to ease with slaughter at the end of the month. Also, FEMEC was postponed until March 2022, and January's footwear exports from Brazil were down by a third year over year. From elsewhere in Latin America, Argentina saw manufacturing exports start 2021 lower, but leather was actually higher. In Mexico, ANPIC is returning to having in-person fairs in May, and Paraguay's cattle slaughter was up 25% in February. So that's all we have this week, and until next week, good night from HideNet.